Hey you guys, it's Sonia, and on this 5th day of Black History Month, I wanted to do a part 2 about Annie Turnbo Malone. In my first video, I just kind of highlighted why she deserved her place in history. And for this video, I want to kind of give you the backstory. So for those of you who still really didn't know or don't know much about her, here's a little more background about her and how she grew up and the amazing things that she did during her lifetime. Now, and just like in the first video, I mentioned that she was born in 1869 and others say 1877, but we're just going to go with 1869. She was born on August 9th, and again, to former parents who were former slaves. She was the 10th of 11 children, and her parents died when she was very young. They both died around the same time, which is weird. I really would like to know, the story behind that. Like, were they sick? Were they in an accident? What happened? But in any case, her parents died when she was very young, so she was raised by her older sister. And again, when Annie was in school, she was very interested in chemistry. She was good in chemistry. And that was something that she excelled in high school up until, she started to get really sick and she had to drop out of high school. She was never able to finish, but she had an aunt who was very much into natural and herbs. She was an herbalist. And together, with Annie, she really loved hair care. She loved, doing her sister's hair. And she was very interested in coming up with ways to straighten hair without using the harmful chemicals, like dyes. And fun fact, I never knew that that people use some kind of weird combination of potatoes and something else to straighten your hair. And it was awful. It was very damaging to the hair and scalp. And I think this was something that Annie, she saw this and she didn't like it, and she knew this wasn't healthy for the hair. And she just wanted to come up with something that was healthier, more natural to straighten the hair. But at the same time, she saw the need for some type of product to address the hair and scalp issues that plagued Black people, like scalp psoriasis, but the old folks called it tetter, or ringworm, or just women not being able to grow their hair falling out constantly, and they don't know why. Like, why can't my hair grow? Why won't my hair grow? Why does it keep breaking off? So she was interested in finding a solution, creating some type of product that would address those things. So not only did she come up with a way to straighten your hair without using bacon grease, goose fat, or butter, or whatever else that, Black people were using, because that's all they had, lard. She also wanted to find a way to help with the health of your hair and scalp. So she came up with something. I think it was she named it the Wonderful Hair Grower, and then later called it Poro. She, named it, her product, that, and then eventually the college that she started, the Poro College. But one of her first products was the liquid shampoo, because she felt like you need to start with a clean scalp. You need to have clean hair and a clean scalp in order for your hair to grow. So she came up with this product that, that would address the different hair scalp issues, but at the same time grow your hair. And I loved how she saw, you know, that her product had potential. She knew she had something good, and that staying in Illinois was not going to get her product seen. She decided, I believe, in 1902 to move her company from Illinois to St. Louis, and she wanted to feature her product at the 1904 World Fair, which is basically a large flea market type place where anybody, vendors, whatever you sold, you could set up there and sell your products and make good money. And also St. Louis, at the time, I believe, had the 4th largest Black community. So she knew that she would reach way more people there than she would in the small town in Illinois. And her product took off. She got employees to help sell her product. Madam C.J. Walker was one of them. And they sold her product not only at the World Fair, but they went door to door. They gave women samples so they can see how it worked, see if they liked it. And if they did, of course, they would buy more. And, you know, she did so well to the point that she was able to buy a warehouse so she could manufacture her product and go from there. But what I liked so much about Annie was she wasn't about the money. Giving back was very much important to her. She felt that education was key in empowering women, other women, to you know, learn how to learn a trade basically through cosmetology. She taught these women how to do hair, how to care for their hair using her products. She taught them the proper way to use her products. But then she also taught them entrepreneurship and showed them that they too could do what she was doing. They could make money on their own, either selling the products or doing something else. And when she opened the Poro School of Cosmetology, I forgot to mention that in my first video, that this was a cosmetology school that just so happened to teach so many different things. This place was huge. She had almost 200 employees. She had about 75,000 men and women graduate from her cosmetology school. And fun fact, Chuck Berry was one of them. He went to the Poro College because he was from St. Louis, and he went there to learn cosmetology and how to become a barber. And that's what he did until his music career blew up. But when you saw Chuck Berry's hair, just think back, or even just look at old pictures and look at Chuck Berry's hair. Even when he was in a band, his hair and the band members' hair was always pristine. It was laid. And that was because Chuck Berry was doing their hair. He did his own hair. He did his band members' hair. And it's because he learned under Annie Turnbo Malone's Poro College. So that was a very interesting fact that I learned when researching Annie Turnbo. And I'm pretty sure he wasn't the only famous person to come through her college. There were many others as well. But again, it was a cosmetology school. It taught people a trade. It taught people so many different things. Entrepreneurship. It was a place for meetings of all kinds, for politicians, for civic, business, whatever. You know, there was a place for you to meet. It was a place for creatives, musicians, to make music. It had a full, like, kitchen, and it had an ice cream parlor. It had a rooftop garden. It had everything those young men and women could possibly want or need. And it was the first of its kind. And she put so much of her money into that college, and she treated her employees so well. She was very good to them, especially the loyal ones. She rewarded their years of service. She rewarded their punctuality, being good employees. She was known for gifting her employees with lavish gifts, very generous gifts. And, you know, she bought homes for her siblings and family members. Annie was very much into just giving back. You know, she lived a pretty conservative life. She wasn't lavish. And she gave the majority of her fortune to charities, and back into the Black community. And I think that in itself was very admirable, but it also was to her own detriment in the end, because she came upon some really harsh financial times, from the divorce from her husband, to the stock market crash of 29, I think. And then, you know, various lawsuits from former employees who felt that, you know, they helped her create or build her business. And, you know, people just came at her. They sued her for frivolous things. And then she owed a ton of money to the IRS. And it just kind of wiped her out. She did end up losing the poor old college, and it was sold to pay off her tax debt. And but the other, you know, schools across the country, they still remain open and they flourish. But, you know, when she died, she wasn't in that great of a financial state compared to the millions that she had made since 1900. So, and I think that's also why Madam C.J. Walker is elevated more. She's looked up to more, because she was able to maintain her wealth. And, you know, people looked at her more as a story of, you know, being, you know, inspiring, a more inspiring story, because, you know, she brought herself from nothing, and, you know, the typical rags to riches story. And, you know, she ended up being a wealthy woman. She maintained her wealth. And whereas Annie Turnbo Malone, you know, she lost a lot of her wealth. But to me, the good that she did, the lasting effects of her philanthropy and giving back to the Black community and teaching people, you know, giving them the tools to empower themselves to be entrepreneurs, using cosmetology, because back then, you know, Black people were so limited in what they could do. It was so hard to have your own business. It was hard to even be able to be in that world with white people, of buying real estate. And one of the surefire things that you could do as a Black person was cosmetology. You could be a barber or a beautician and make good, steady money, because that's something that would never go away. There would never stop being a need for someone to do your hair. And that's why it was so smart of her to recognize that and then encourage that. You know, the best way you can make money is to learn how to do hair, learn how to do makeup, learn how to make beauty products. And she empowered Black people. That was an excellent, excellent way to make money. And it's still an excellent way to make money today. You can never, ever not make money when you're a cosmetologist. So as a pioneer in the arena of cosmetology. Annie Turnbo is definitely a trailblazer. She paved the way. She paved the way for Madam C.J. Walker, who worked for her. She paved the way for everyone. And her, what she created, it's textbook, and it's still being followed today. And this is why Annie Malone her name should be said more. Her name should be known more. We should give credit where credit is due to Annie Malone, because without her, cosmetology as we know it would not exist. And it exists because of her, and because of her innovations and her love of chemistry and her love of hair, and just wanting to help Black people and come up with ways to help Black people manage their hair, care for their hair. Because you have to remember, back then, the shampoos that were on the market were not for our hair. And that continued to be a problem. To this day, it's still a problem. We still have a lot of now, yeah, we have shampoos that's catered to natural hair. But it was such a huge problem back then. And, they did not address our needs. And she came up with something that addressed our needs. And Madam C.J. Walker came along. And she had her products as well that she patterned off of Annie Malone, and they both helped the Black community in huge ways, and they both should be celebrated. But I feel like Annie Malone should be celebrated more. And there's so much information you can find on the internet, books that you can find on Amazon that tells Annie Malone's story, and I strongly encourage you to look into those and get to know her story, because there's so much more to her, and the things that she did, and what her poor old College of Cosmetology offered so many people, not just here in the United States, but in other countries. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. Bye-bye.